Alright guys, basically the game plan for the video today, we'll be VOD reviewing the 27 kill win out of Beef and Fatch. I'm just going to go through a lot of their kills and we're going to take a look at what their strategy is and how they're effectively running through an entire lobby. So Fatch and Beef, they really like to, it appears that they like to land at this split drop with houses. There's a lot of extra loot, a little bit of, like there's some trailers back on the coast. Good amount of metal here in this area, and then it's pretty spread out as well, so it gives good sidelines for like AR tags and such. You don't necessarily have to box fight off spawn, it's more of just a grab loot and shoot type of thing. So unfortunately Fatch is going to go down here early, but Beef had a good drop. He picked up the weapons, right? So let's go back, let's see how Beef dropped this. So here Beef is landing for the top of what used to be the IO tower. They reskinned these for this season. And then Fatch is dropped for the building. Obviously, Fatch didn't get any chest spawn. There is a chest spawn in that building. Obviously, Fatch didn't get that, so that's kind of unfortunate. Just up to RNG. Beef gets a big shield and a chest. So really nice. He obviously has some good RNG right out of the chest here, getting a striker. But he knows that before he engages this, he might want to look for a spray weapon as well. I'm not sure if he sees Maxo here or not. We'll go to the gameplay. No, he's completely turned around, so he doesn't see Maxo. He sees those gunshots, but he's got Lockset right in front of him. He knows that this kid has no gun, low HP. So it's a pretty easy kill. Just make sure you hit the shots. Unfortunately, Fatch is going to start going down. They're contested by multiple teams here, unfortunately. So Beef starts taking some damage, goes ahead and cleans up, gets the finish, boxes up. And then he's going to be really aggressive because he knows, again, that like a lot of these guys, the likelihood that they have shields, if they're here this early, it's just not very high. So, and then the strikers this season are so powerful. Even a gray one, I believe, does 105 damage to the body. So you get a striker off spawn and you know somebody doesn't have shield, it's probably a good idea to aggress them, especially if you know that you have good shotgun aim, because all you have to do is hit them for a max damage body shot and they're dead. So 2 quick kills off spawn from Beef there. Fortunately, Fatch does get knocked, and it looks like Maxo's going to aggress Beef here, but Beef has the HP advantage and the material advantage, so he doesn't need to do much here. Just play off of the body from Fatch. And then this is just a really easy kill. Again, this is first lobby, so you know a lot of these players are not going to be as skilled as you might see when you get into the higher elos in the Cash Cup lobbies. Beef decides to let that go because Fatch is in a safe space. The other kid does not want to aggressive fight. He'd rather play safe for his teammate's card. So Beef is going to take the smart play, and he's going to go ahead and res Fatch here. And then from here, these guys are just going to end up looting up, getting their materials up, making sure that they have enough shields to go ahead and take their next fight. So we can fast forward through this part. So as you can see, the loadout choice here is pretty interesting. Running with tires there. Okay, it looks like Fatch gets an AUG, so he's going to be running triple guns, 6 minis, 2 splash, and then Beef is going to be running our hammer, which is a really good substitute for the SMG this season. It allows you the flexibility in box fighting to take the long piece with your gun more effectively and faster than the AUG. And it's also good for getting in and spraying, but now that Fatch has the AUG, and we're running triple gun, Beef is going to go ahead and switch that hammer out for the SMG because the SMG is still just going to be the best decision when you're W-king as far as having a spray weapon if you want to run triple heal. So when Nano goes up, tries to trade off some damage with Beef, does not win the trade. As you can see, he's down to 50 shield. Because it looks like our boys, Fatch and Beef, went ahead for the double spray on this guy. So Nano's going to place the ramp over his back, but now that they have the HP advantage, Beef and Fatch are just playing real aggressive, taking SMG spray angles, trying to get some easy damage. You can see this is a really nice wall retake by Beef here. So not getting overly aggressive too here, guys. He obviously gets tagged up, so he's going to hit the shield, but he keeps in mind this guy still is only 150, so we're pretty even in terms of HP right now. And if you guys saw what he did there, he's dropping down on the wall with his SMG out, spraying so that he can take the wall as soon as he's within range of the wall. This allows him to get free damage on Humble here, which allows him to really swing this fight. Now they can get really aggressive. Drops down with the shotgun out. Goes for the trade on Nano. Just misses the shot. So now he knows, hey, I'm in a bad spot here. I got to get out. Starts looking for his teammate. Kind of got a little hairy there. Probably could have died really easily. I believe that was a mistake out of Fatch. I believe he should go out the other way to try to create space for himself. But it does end up working out. He catches Humble a little bit off guard. Kind of just slides through the wall and then gets a shotgun him through his toes. And then from here, it's a really easy kill for Fatch because he's doing a great job on just running support angles and making sure that he can just finish up the fight with the SMG after Beef does a lot of big damage. Another thing I want to talk about, that fight took a little bit longer probably than they would have wanted, unfortunately. But they didn't get third-partied because they're all the way out here on the edge of the map. There's nobody else at Sleepy, so this is a good fight to take to avoid third parties. They're also all the way outside of zone, so theoretically everybody else should be rotating into zone as well. Alright, so they see this reboot go off here. They see these guys running up over to the building. And the way that Fatch opens up this fight is really, really interesting, guys. So we're going to start off with some diagonal box fighting here, going for a left-hand peek on the wall. At this point, Fatch is looking through the wall, reading to see what's going on in here, and he can see that there's a shield keg going on, so there's a likelihood that at least one of the teammates is sitting inside of this building trying to hide while they take the shield keg. It's likely going to be the guy that just got rebooted. So he's just, in order to create more space for themselves, he's just going to piece through the building, and he actually, by doing this, ends up pokeballing the guy. He ends up pokeballing Coop, which gives him a really, really easy angle. He probably could have set that up a little better by opening up the Pokeball, resetting, and then opening up the window edit here. And he could have slid to the left, open up the right window edit, and you have a free right-hand peek to not take any damage. Regardless, he only took 22 damage, so it was a pretty good trade. Meanwhile, Coop was taking 130. Coop just decides to run at him because he's fully pieced and he has no other choice. However, while Fatch was on this side getting busy on Coop, Beef went to the other side to peek through the window and to try to find out where the other teammate is. And this allows him to see actually through the building, through this other window down here. If we go to drone free. Beef was down here looking through this window. He actually sees the other player, Moochie, come up over the ramp trying to take a pinch angle on Fatch here, which allows Beef to run a counter pinch angle. Dropping down on Moochie here, just jumping into his box and winning the aim duel. So super, super easy way to catch people off guard when they're inside of buildings. Just taking one of the outside walls from a diagonal box fighting angle and then piecing through the building until you have him either full pieced or pokeballed. Or you can generate some sort of other information to tell you where this team might be, and then you can make the decision on how to aggress. But again, lots of confidence out of Beef and Fatch here. So this mid-map area is really nice for rotations when you're trying to rotate, you know, like a Maxis and second zone in this particular zone pool. If you're coming from the other side of the map, those would be available too on the opposite zone pool. But obviously the launch pads there just allow pretty quick rotations. And then just how early Fatch and Beef are here allows them to have pretty much free pickings of whoever they want to fight. And we're about to see a repeat of pretty much the exact same thing that they just did in their last fight. So Beef starts here. He sees that they're running into the building. Fatch is already behind this team, pushing them into Beef. And again, we're piece controlling through the building. Fatch is coming in on this backside here. This guy builds off his back because he's paying attention to Fatch trying to run away. But while he's doing that, he doesn't see Beef coming on the other side. Kind of running the other side of this pinch. Okay, so here we have Fatch and Beef gliding in on these kids again. Fatch is a few layers ahead of Beef. Hits this mushroom to automatically take height to start the fight. Cairo and Renar see this, so Cairo is going to run inside the building. They also are seeing that these guys are incredibly split, so we need to just jump on the one that's closest to us, and we need to get this guy dead quickly because we have the advantage right now. We're running a 2v1. We have 400 HP. This kid's only got 200. We have 2 guns. He has 1. Right, so if we're pressuring from both sides, as you can see, Cairo built off his back, just like we saw in the previous angle. But because Beef was coming in very aggressively on the other side of this bench, he just gets a free piece control, free 170, and this pushes Cairo back into Fatch, and then Fatch, all he has to do is pull out his SMG and finish him off. From here, they get the finish, they get the loot, and then they say, where's the other teammate? We're going to chase him down, we're going to try to get this kill. This kid decides to build up to try to get away from them. He actually does succeed in getting up the tree. And then we're going to start getting third party by an additional team. So at this point, we're going to decide, hey, we can't continue to aggress the solo without taking too much damage or potentially dying. It looks like Fatch took about 70 shield damage. So we're just going to hang out here. We're going to take a break from W King a while. You know, we've already got 8 kills. Let's just make sure we don't get overly aggressive, overly greedy, and throw this game. All right, so now that everyone's backed off, we're going to take differing angles, and we're going to try to work our way up to height very slowly, very safely, utilizing the builds that have already been placed. So here, it looks like Beef gets caught a little bit off guard. These kids are still waiting by the zip line, waiting for these kids to work up to height. This causes SGK to work over to his teammate, which allows Fatch to take the bad side angle and try to get a box fight started with these guys, try to get some free damage. Beef gets away from the other team, gets over to his teammate Fatch, and Fatch here is trying to get safe first because he sees the other 2 players flowing over to him, and then from there, once they're inside of his pieces, trying to aggress towards him because he's keeping this distance from them. He gets a free shotgun tag on him, going for the wall there, and as you can see, again, still keeping our distance, still utilizing our builds, going up for a little bit of piece control here to try to see if he can predict one. He doesn't get the prediction piece, so what he's going to do is he's going to back off. Him and Beef start aggressing from the same angle. As they take these pieces, they just open up for a quick shotgun tag. They see that they're leaving this edit open, and SGK is up trying to aggress them, so they've taken that split opportunity where they see one of the other opponents not paying attention. And then from there, it's just kind of an easy get-in. Something else that's important to note, as soon as Fatch sees Beef trying to aggress this wall, he's going to come here as well so that they're running multiple angles. They're not running the same angle on the solo, right? Because our goal on the solo is going to be to kill this kid as quickly as possible and also to close out his angles so that he makes a mistake. SGK just runs away here. I'm not entirely sure what this kid is doing, to be honest. I mean, he had heals. Maybe he tries to make a little bit more space. Perhaps he's just trying to hide and wait for them to leave and get the card, but this just isn't going to work on players that are experienced as Fatch and Beef. So again, nice little box fight here. We're going to continue to aggress the rest of the lobby because we're still just trying to drop as many kills as we can. So very interesting here, right? So Fatch sees, when he's coming in, he sees this kid come forward, sees Jav come forward, try to spray him out of the air, and he sees Lixie come forward out of the door to try to spray him out of the air. So in order to take as minimal damage as he can, he tries to line of sight them through the air using the trees, and then he also lands on top of the building. As soon as he sees them, though, drop back in, he knows that he's going to have the back on one of them. So he drops down, he takes a second to read, he sees that Jav's back is to him, very quickly take the wall with the SMG, and then it's just a quick piece like we've seen from the past couple of fights where we're aggressing buildings. But again, he gets this opportunity because he's playing quick, playing aggressive, and reading the opponent, right? He sees that this guy's back is to him, so he can take the wall, and then he also sees the lack of piece control inside of the building, which gives him the ability to start controlling the area, and then controls Jab as well. Gets a free 100 tag, and then Beef with the comms. Fatch is going to be calming, and then Beef is just going to be running this pinch again, coming in behind, and he gets an easy kill on Jav, and then it's just a quick 50-50 aim duel. Again, you have 2 guns versus 1, so not a bad choice to take the aim duel there, even though Beef does get knocked. However, this is going to slow them down just a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, at this point in the game, we're sitting on 12 kills. We're second zone. We still have a little bit of time to aggress like more of the lobby, but we're already on pace to have a really, really good first game here. All right, so we see another team pulling up on us. So the first step here that we're going to go for is we're going to try to establish the high ground. As these kids see us, obviously we're reading. They obviously don't want to fight because they didn't even try to go up for the high ground, even though they took the first shots and they were the team to aggress first. So that's probably telling Fatch and Beef here that, hey, these kids may not be that great. We can definitely key this. Again, setting up with a diagonal box fight technique. Also trying to take the centerpiece control so that they cannot counterpiece him. So again, Beef is coming back around the backside of the house, trying to find some spray angles, anything that's free. He does get to find a free angle here as Fatch runs in and starts to aggress the team. He gets a really, really free shot here on Mine Room. And you guys can see just how quickly they're ending these fights now that they're in their rhythm. You know, it's 15 to 20 seconds. And the reason why that's important is because it limits the ability of another team to come in and third-party you, right? Because now you have the time to just kind of breathe, hang out, pop your shields, and be healthy again. This takes away the advantage that any third party would have. Alright, so we get max shield. We're not going to spend any extra time hanging around trying to figure out what we want to carry. We already know what we want to carry. We have our chug splashes, our minis, and our guns. Just wasting no time to getting after the rest of this lobby. We hear a fight going on over here, so we're going to get elevated so we can potentially take a look at it. And we know that we can glide out of the tree, so we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to go dive on Felix and Sparebow here. So let's see what happens in this fight with Felix and Sparebow. So dropping down again, playing for distance, getting a little bit aggro as we see that ramp go over our opponent's head for trying to get the wall from him because we know that he's likely not holding that wall. We may be able to find some free chip damage. Beast does make a mistake here. He should have been looking to replace the cone in the 4 there. Instead, he gets a little bit lazy, just opens up the stair and takes 100 damage back from that. Fatch is going to continue to aggress over here. He gets hit with the same mistake, right? So Beef and Fatch, they're like, hey, you know what? These guys, they're kind of decent. I don't know if we really want to take this fight, right? So we get back together. We're healing up. We gotta make sure that when we start taking damage, guys, if we're running these pinches, we need to make sure our first instinct after we take damage is to get safe and heal, and then to meet up with our teammate. So Fatch takes big damage again. Beef is there to back him up. Great use of the armored walls to cut off any angles that the enemy might have. Fatch has to get free here, has to get healed up. But Beef is here to kind of support him, hold the walls for him while they try to smack. But because of the speed and the efficiency of these guys recognizing and reading when they need to be together, they get healed up relatively quickly. And they don't lose a precious life or valuable time, right? So they're getting kind of beat up in that fight. They're like, you know what? Like, we got away with our lives. I don't really want to fight these kids. They're kind of good. They got our number right now. Let's just leave. There's nothing wrong with disengaging a fight that you're losing, guys. You just got to make sure that you get out of it early enough so that you're not completely shambles. So a little bit of a misread here, actually, by Fatch and Beef that end up getting them into this fight. Fatch just hits the zip line. He has no idea that these two guys are here. We can go back a little bit to show you guys what I mean. So he goes up here. Vano and Vin are coming in to take a look down at them. He tries to take an aim duel. He does end up getting Vano to 20 HP. So he's essentially won. But he does end up getting punished by taking a big chunk of damage in the back. However, Beef is now here. Beef to the rescue. Beef takes the double at it. Oh my god, and his shotgun doesn't shoot. How unfortunate. And now we have a third party coming in, guys. So this is why I'm saying that, like, this is where fighting skill becomes important, right? Because we made a mistake. We probably shouldn't be fighting this right here. We didn't have any tangible advantage to open this fight. We just went up a zip line, got surprised, decided to take an aim duel, and now we're both cracked. Both of our shields are low. Luckily, we did big damage on the first team, so they don't really want anything to do with us. They also utilized this opportunity with the third party to get out. So we're able to reset the fight as well because of that, because we reacted quickly to the third party. And one of them actually does, one of the players from the team that we were originally aggressing actually does end up going down. So we just slide down after them. Picking up a couple of easy free kills here. And now the third party is going to roll in, but again, because we were able to clean up that fight so quickly, we're not taking a lot of unnecessary damage here. And they're not able to just get straight in on us because they don't have an HP advantage. So they sit up on high ground. We're just going to box up. We're going to wait for them to try to drop down here. We also see that zone's starting to move. We're the team underneath, so we got to burn a lot of our mats. Just burning our wood here because we'll be able to farm a good bit of that back just by getting to this cabin here. So now we're back in on edge, working back in towards our old loot. We find some extra shields because we did end up getting a little bit scuffed in those later fights. But good recognition of knowing that, hey, we took a fight here in this building earlier. There's probably still a lot of loot here. And it sounds like Fatch might be... Nope, we're still chilling. Thought Fatch might have been getting aggressed there. But we're down inside. The other team went up, trying to get elevation. We're nice and safe on our old loot. So this is the moment where they're kind of deciding, like, hey, you know what? Gotta stop W keying as much. You know, half and half's about to pull. So we gotta start playing this like it's a real end game, right? We're still gonna look for opportunities, but we might play a little bit safer, I guess. Not really. But they know that they have to go in on this rotate here, so they're just deciding to follow this team in. Staggering here while taking shots, just looking up, back, and around, trying to get an analysis of the situation and what's going on. So we're going to block off our tops from height there as well. And utilize, I really like the decision to utilize the grappler to get in. Ooh. Fatch, when you land there, buddy, you got to block your back. You know there's teams behind you, man. Block your back. Block your back. Alright, so we're going to immediately start looking for a drop-down play on these teams that rotated in behind us. Struggling to get the 4. We get the 4 and the cone. We have a nice little right-hand peek over our peanut butter, but it looks like the enemy's ready to aggress against that. But you can see Fatch and Beef seeing that, hey, you know what? We missed the opportunity here on Cursa, and I don't even know what to call this guy. Honestly, guys, I'm going to be real with you. If you're watching this video and that's you, like, I don't know, you need to change your name, bro. Still playing really aggressive here, though, out of Fatch and Beef. They're just looking for people to take. Oh, okay, I see why he's doing this. So he's expanding out here to avoid getting lobby focused as they go in for this, because the rest of the lobby is over to this side. So he's just expanding out so they have a little bit of space to work with in case they start getting sprayed. So we're looking to continue to take this fight. Just, again, playing safe, playing from our territory, trying to look for drop downs, safe right-hand peeks. So just ultimately playing it like it's an in-game, they end up getting, the other team ends up getting lobby focus, so Fatch and Beef end up getting a really, really free and easy kill here. And then we end up pulling zone and we're pretty much fully front side. So really lucky zone pull here. Because we're definitely not looking to position for this, right? Like, we're kind of just running through the lobby, trying to look for kills. Nice little SMG spray out of Fatch here. And it's pulling up a mountain here as well, so we're trying to work our way up. These guys are just crazy, man. So as you can see, though, we're not really playing super textbook, right? This is first game. Like, they're kind of just W-keying their way through it, going like wall to wall on the mid ground, making sure that they keep their distance and making sure that they're playing together. You know, that's in this meta, guys. Even though that the combat just got removed with the update today, the Stinger is still unbelievably broken, and it's definitely still possible to be taking walls and doing the kind of things that Fatch and Beef are doing here. So here we get frontside zone. We're boxed up. We're almost all the way in. We're going to decide to look back at the team's backside. Here we're getting slightly more elevated as we come into zone. We'll just come out the left side here because we're not fully built. This is not a fully stacked lobby, so there's not as many holes that we need to cover. So just doing a good job of kind of saving our mats here, reading the lobby well. I also like the rotate to go horizontal across the zone to go ahead and claim the side of zone that's closest to where zone is pulling to diagonally. Just very aggressive out of Fatch here, dropping down on Sparebow to go get that kill, but he sees that he's a solo, so we decide to take our ones. Beef stays up in the tarp, continues to put pressure and aggress the entire lobby from this staggered position. Zambo, dog, just run in there with your shotgun out, man. Just run in there with your shotgun out, please. Save the rest of the lobby. But again, this is where the individual skill of Beef and Fatch comes in. It's not necessarily just that they're good at getting kills by themselves, but they're also extremely good at utilizing their mechanics and surviving. So playing up on a bridge here as the zone kind of pulls over a valley, keeps ourselves nice and elevated so we don't get stuck down in the valley. We also get to just continue to frag out against these other teams on mid ground. And then again, we're wrapping to this side of the zone, and it allows us to just straight tarp right into zone. It also allows us to save the mats here on our outside walls because we can just leave this open. So again, continually to wrapping to get to outside, even though we're kind of high, we're getting sprayed out by height here. We just don't want to dip down into this valley, right? Because if zone pulls back up the hill, we can get stuck here. And so even though we're W-keying, it is definitely very beneficial for us to be staying up on this mid-ground layer. And great awareness out of Beef here. He sees Posed and Cooper getting absolutely just beamed by height. So he sneaks up on them, finds a free angle where they just missed. I'm not sure why they didn't block that off. Posed and Cooper, like, you guys are better than that. I'm going to be honest with you. So Beef runs all the way backside zone. Fatch gets all the way ahead and connects this hill and reclaims low ground here. And now he's looking up to chop height. He sees they're fully on wood. So they get this nice double spray down with Beef. They get this nice and coordinated to get the drop down. So Beef hears the call from Fatch, hey, come front side. I got a chop down. Gets her basically just completely fried him out of the air. I mean, he's fully 1 HP. Like, this kid's not going to be able to do anything. Get the finish. Blocks off the loot. Very important things there. Create the space. Make sure that you're safe and then claim the loot. Something that people often forget about. And then we're just kind of condensing out the rest of the lobby, going box to box fighting everyone else. They see Cooper's a solo there because we got the kill on Posed earlier. And then just claiming full low, getting together and double spraying up towards height. We see that he's in wood, and it's a 2v1 situation, so both have good mats as well because we've been keying out the rest of the lobby. just utilize the spray weapons, spray him down, double shoddy, and get the easy win. That was Beef and Fatch, 27 kill win. Extremely impressive skill out of both of these players. But great job utilizing the SMGs for great wall takes, catching people by surprise, and then really just owning those mid-ground layers and not having any fear of just going box to box and getting kills in these easy lobbies. Alright guys, that was how to W key like Fatch and Beef. I hope you guys learned as much from this video as I learned making it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.